Football. In many countries, soccer is also called football. There are two teams of 11 players each playing it. To score goals, you have to kick the ball into the other team's net. Soccer is incredibly popular all over the world. It's played and listened to in many places, including North America, Europe, South America, Africa, and Asia. Barcelona and Real Madrid CF lead global soccer with their legendary status and massive fan bases. Some well-known soccer players are Diego Maradona, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Pelé. The modern form of soccer began in England in the middle of the 1800s, but people have been playing different versions of the game for hundreds of years. Basketball. Two teams of 5 players each play basketball. The goal is to hit the ball through the 10-foot tall hoop that the other team has set up while stopping them from scoring. Basketball is popular all over the world, but especially in the US, China, Spain, and several Eastern European countries. The Los Angeles Lakers and Boston Celtics are basketball giants and famous in the sports world. Many people think that Michael Jordan, along with LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and Shaquille O'Neal, was one of the best basketball players ever. In 1891, in Springfield, Massachusetts, USA, Dr. James Naismith came up with the idea for basketball. American football. In American football, there are two teams of 11 players each, either moving the ball into the opposing team's end zone or kicking it through their goal posts results in a point. People mostly like American football in the US, but some people also like it in Canada and other places. The New England Patriots and Dallas Cowboys are iconic teams in American football and widely renowned. People think that Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Jerry Rice, and Joe Montana are some of the best football players ever. In the United States in the late 1800s, American football grew out of rugby and soccer. Rugby ball. There are two teams of 15 players each. To score points, you have to get the ball over the other team's goal line by carrying, passing, kicking, or grounding it. Rugby is well liked in many places, including New Zealand, England, South Africa, Australia, and France. The New Zealand All Blacks and England rugby team dominate rugby and enjoy global fame. Richie McCaw, Jonah Lomu, Dan Carter, and Johnny Wilkinson are all well-known rugby players. Rugby was created in England in the early 1800s. Volleyball. There are two teams of 6 players each, and the game is played between them. Getting the ball to the other team's side of the court or making them make a mistake is how you score points. There are a lot of people who love volleyball all over the world, including big fans in Brazil, the US, Italy, Russia, and China. Brazil's men's national volleyball team and the USA's women's national volleyball team excel in volleyball and are famous for their success. Giba, Misty May Traynor, Kerry Walsh Jennings, and Karch Kiraly are all well-known volleyball players. William G. Morgan came up with volleyball in the United States in 1895. Tennis ball. 2 people can play tennis alone, singles, or in 2 teams of 2, doubles. It's your job to hit the ball over the net and into the other team's court so they can't return it. Tennis is played all over the world, with big fan bases in places like the US, Spain, Switzerland, Australia, and Serbia. The Spain Davis Cup team and USA Fed Cup team showcase tennis excellence and are famous in the tennis community. Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, Serena Williams, and Rafael Nadal are some of the most well-known tennis players. Tennis, as we know it today, began in England in the late 1800s. The cricket ball. Cricket is played by 2 teams of 11 players each. To score runs, you have to hit the ball and run between the wickets while the other team tries to get you out. In places like India, England, Australia, Pakistan, and the West Indies, cricket is very popular. The Indian cricket team and Australian cricket team are cricket powerhouses and famous across cricket-playing nations. Cricket players like Sachin Tendulkar, Sir Donald Bradman, Brian Lara, and Sir Vivian Richards are well known. The first games of cricket were played in England in the 1600s. Baseball. 2 teams of 9 players each play baseball. To score runs, you have to hit a pitched ball and run around a set of bases before the other team can catch it. People in the US, Japan, South Korea, Cuba, and many Latin American countries really enjoy baseball. The New York Yankees and Los Angeles Dodgers are legendary baseball teams and globally famous. Baseball players like Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, and Barry Bonds are well known. The first baseball games were played in England in the middle of the 18th century, but the modern game came about in the United States. Softball. Much like baseball, softball is played on a smaller field with a bigger ball. It's played by 2 groups of 9 to 10 people. Players try to score runs by hitting the ball and going around the bases. People in the US, Canada, Japan, Australia, and some European countries really enjoy softball. The USA women's national softball team and Japan women's national softball team are softball champions and famous in the softball world. Liz Fernandez, Kat Osterman, Jenny Finch, and Natasha Watley are all well-known softball players. In the late 1800s, softball was created in the United States as an indoor version of baseball. Golf ball. Golf is a sport where players use different clubs to hit a small ball into holes on a course in as few strokes as possible. It can be played alone or with a partner. Golf is popular all over the world, with big fan bases in the US, Scotland, England, South Korea, and Japan, among others. The USA Ryder Cup team and European Ryder Cup team represent golfing greatness and are famous in golf circles. Rory McIlroy, Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, and Arnold Palmer are some of the most well-known golfers. The game of golf began in Scotland in the 1400s. Table tennis ball. 2 to 4 people can play table tennis, which is also called ping pong. Using small paddles, the players hit a light ball back and forth over a small net. China, Sweden, Germany, Japan, and South Korea are all great places to play table tennis. The China men's national table tennis team and Japan women's national table tennis team dominate table tennis and are famous in the sport. Liu Guoliang, Ma Long, Zhang Jike, and John Ove Waldner are all well-known table tennis players. In England in the late 1800s, table tennis started out as an indoor version of lawn tennis. Lacrosse ball. Lacrosse is played by 2 teams of 10 players for men's lacrosse or 12 players for women's lacrosse. To carry, pass, and shoot a solid rubber ball into the other team's goal, players use a stick with a netted pocket. People from the US, Canada, England, Australia, and some Native American groups like to play lacrosse. The Canada men's national lacrosse team and USA women's national lacrosse team lead lacrosse and enjoy fame in lacrosse communities. Lacrosse players like Paul Rabiel, Gary Gait, Casey Powell, and Taylor Cummings are well known. People have been playing it for hundreds of years, with Native American groups in North America being the first to do so. Handball. There are 2 teams of 7 players each in handball. To score, you have to throw the ball into the other team's goal while following certain rules, such as not dribbling. In countries like Germany, Denmark, France, Spain, and Sweden, handball is very popular. The France men's national handball team and the Norway women's national handball team excel in handball and are famous in handball circles. Handball players like Nikola Karabatic, Mikkel Hansen, Ivano Balic, and Thierry Omeyer are well known. In the early 1900s, handball, as we know it today, began in Europe. Beach volleyball, played on sand with 2 players on each team. Beach volleyball is like indoor volleyball. To get points, you have to hit the ball over the net and into the other team's court. People like to play beach volleyball in places with beaches, like Brazil, the US, Australia, Spain, and Italy. The Brazil men's beach volleyball team and USA women's beach volleyball team are beach volleyball stars and famous in beach volleyball communities. Misty May Trianer, Carrie Walsh Jennings, Emmanuel Rego, and Karch Kiraly are all well-known beach volleyball players. Traditional indoor volleyball gave rise to beach volleyball, which became popular in California in the early 1900s. Water polo ball. The game of water polo is played in a pool by two teams of 7 players each. To score goals, you have to throw a buoyant ball into the other team's goal while staying afloat. People in Hungary, Serbia, Croatia, Italy, and the US all like to play water polo. The Hungary men's national water polo team and USA women's national water polo team dominate water polo and are famous in water polo circles. Famous water polo players are Manuel Estiardi, Deso Ghermati, Tibor Benedek, and Tony Azevedo. In the late 1800s, England was the first place where modern water polo was played.